I'm Steve Walling, and my guest today is Tyrone McKinnon. Tyrone, welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, now, you're here because you've written a screenplay.
Yes.
Tell me, what's the name of the screenplay?
Waiting Until.
Waiting Until. And what's this screenplay basically about, Tyrone?
What the screenplay does, it encourages young people to be more responsible when it comes to sex. I do three things with it. One, I encourage parents to communicate with their children, not just about sex, but life in general.
Very important.
What the screenplay also does is it encourages people to preferably be married before they participate in having sex, but if not married, realistically, at least be in love.
Okay. Very good. So, you've written this screenplay,
Yes,
and that's only part of why you're here today.
correct.
The screenplay is going to be presented to people that are going to show up for a
Casting call.
casting call.
In fact, we're doing a casting call for two screenplays. My partner, Matt Macedo, he also wrote a screenplay called Drug of Choice. And what that does, that particular screenplay, it really gives the true fact, or is brutally honest when it comes to drug addiction.
Okay.
And there's a teenager in the movie, and as a result of this teenager being addicted to drugs, it helps him to. There is a way out. There is hope. So all is not lost.
I do believe that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have two movies, and both of them address issues that are rampant in society in the way of what I will say infecting the younger generation.
Correct.
As we were talking earlier before we came on camera, the concept of having sexually transmitted diseases today is much more important than having, or when it was when I was a kid. I mean, like I said, when I was a kid, we had some things to worry about, but today you can die. And as a parent, and I told you I raised 5 kids. As a parent, it's critical that young people get this, and they get it by parental dialogue.
Yes.
And I'm not. Hey, what they do in schools with sexual education may be okay, but you know what? If they don't get it, if the kids don't get it from home, basically they don't get it.
That's true.
Because that's the message.
Yes.
And so your movie, your screenplay addresses those issues.
Yes.
As a parent.
Yes.
And I'm going to kind of promote the movie for a minute, not the casting call. But as a parent, that's something that I should see because it's going to help me to enhance my dialogue with my kids, right?
Yes.
In the same way with Matt's movie,
Yes. Drug of Choice.
Drug of Choice. Drugs today, again, it's not that we had less drugs. They do have more drugs today, but the prevalence within society today is so much greater, and it starts with the young kids.
It does. It does.
I mean, truth is, middle-aged people generally don't become drug addicts at a percentage rate that young kids do per capita.
Yes.
Yes. And knowing, when you get wrapped up in that culture and you get lost,
Correct.
there's a way out.
Yes.
That's very good.
Yes.
So you got this casting call. It's going to be down in Hanford.
Yes.
Tell me about it. Where's it going to be at, and what kind of potential people are you looking for?
Well, actually, it's going to be in Hanford, California, at Hanford Auditorium, and it's going to be July the 2nd from 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And what we are looking for is anyone who is interested in being an actor or an actress. So we're not counting anyone out. Everyone is included, all ages. And so we are encouraging as many as possible to come and be cast for both movies.
Okay. And what are the roles that we're looking at? What roles did the screenplay basically present? Obviously, you're going to have extras and background people, but characters. What's the main characters? What are we looking at?
Well, in Waiting Until, you have 2 teenagers, a male and a female.
Okay.
And one male feels different about this particular male. He wants to have sex like yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
Not uncommon.
Yeah. And he meets this young lady who has a total different opinion about sex. And so she helps him to see the importance of waiting until. Now, as the movie progresses, they go their separate ways. And as a result of going their separate ways, eventually they end up coming back together. But their opinions either still the same or is it different.
Okay.
And that's what the movie does.
All right. So it presents it. Now, what about parental roles in the movie? Does the movie have much of an emphasis in the parents' involvement in the teenager's life experience, or
Yes.
is that kind of just background stuff that we get via the interaction between the two teenagers?
Well, actually, and that's something that I did. I created a dialogue with the parents.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Why does the leading lady feel the way that she does about sex? And why does the leading man feel the way that he does? And obviously, because of the communication
Right.
that the children have with their parents, that is the reason why they feel the way that they do about sex. One is more responsible than the other one.
Very good. And, Tyrone, that is pretty much a direct reflection of, the way we see things unfold in society.
Yes.
Parents that involve themselves in their youth, in their kids, and interact, and they speak to these things. They keep an open dialogue. The kids are more apt and more likely to communicate with the parents.
Correct.
They don't take their questions necessarily to their peer group. They'll bring them to their parents, and where rightfully they should come from. If you are, and the big caveat is, as much as this addresses kids, there's also that other aspect of parenting in our society.
Correct.
Where, parents, you got to be involved. You got to have those conversations. It's like I said before. Today, it's not just about unwanted pregnancies.
Yes.
Today, it's life or death oftentimes for
Yes.
kids, because there are so many different conditions and diseases out there that, it's just tragic.
Yes.
And so that movie is it's great. So we're looking for people of all types.
Correct.
Again, it's in Hanford.
Yes.
When is it?
It is July the 2nd.
July the 2nd.
Yes, from 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m.
5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Yes.
And where in Hanford?
At the Hanford Auditorium.
At the Hanford Auditorium. And if I'm from out of the area, what's the easiest way for me to get to the Hanford Auditorium?
Once you enter, because Hanford is a very small town, and it's a huge, huge building.
Okay.
Okay.
Pretty
And
readily accessible.
It's visible.
Okay.
Yeah, very visible.
Very good. Tyrone. Okay, here's a shot of the building. So if you're going to go, that's what you're looking for, and the casting call will be there,
Yes.
and hoping to have a lot of people show up, right?
Yes, that's the goal.
Okay.
And so,
All right. When are you looking at hitting your production with this? Is this dependent upon filling the roles of the movie first, or do you have a start date on production? What's the thing on that?
no, we don't have a start date yet.
Okay.
It depends on how successful we are with the casting.
Okay.
And so, my goal is to actually do the filming before the year ends.
Okay.
That's the goal. That's what we're shooting.
That's the goal. So the goal is to be in production before the year end.
Correct.
The casting, it's important that you show up, you got the information. If you have no experience, hey, they're open to you coming and showing up. It's an opportunity.
Yes.
If you've got experience and you want more on-camera time, bring it, right?
Thank you. That's what we're looking for.
All right. Well, Tyrone, I want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank
I want
you
to
for
tell
having me.
I think this is great what you're doing.
Thank you,
I think
sir.
and I wish you the most success with this movie, and I hope it gets a lot of airplay and stuff, because, like I said, I believe that that's important. And the same for
Drug of
Mick's
choice.
movie, Drug of Choice.
Yes.
Powerful stuff. And so take it to heart, show up, and we'll be back after this next break.